At the request of Russia, the UN Security Council met for the third time since Friday to discuss the crisis in Ukraine. Russian ambassador to the UN, Vitaly Churkin, told council members that Moscow's actions in recent days are fully appropriate and legitimate. Mr. Churkin says that Ukraine's ousted leader, Viktor Yanukovich, previously sent a letter to President Vladimir Putin requesting that he use the Russian military to restore law and order in Ukraine. Ambassador Churkin says despite the fact that Yanukovych was forcefully ousted from power, Moscow believes that he currently remains the legitimate president of Ukraine. Now, the Russian envoy held up a photocopy of Yanukovych's letter to Security Council members and even read parts of what was written.
The president of Russia has received the following from President Yanukovych, and I quote, the statement of the president of Ukraine. As a legitimately elected representative, I say that the events in my place and the events in Kiev have resulted in the fact that Ukraine is on the brink of a civil war. In the country, there is chaos and anarchy. The life, the security, and the rights of people, particularly in the southeast part in Crimea, are being threatened. So under the influence of Western countries, there are open acts of terror and violence. People are being persecuted for language and political reasons. So in this regard, I would call on the President of Russia, Mr. Putin, asking him to use the armed forces of the Russian Federation to establish legitimacy, peace, law and order, stability, and defending the people of Ukraine. Viktor Yanukovych, 1st of March, 2014. So, colleagues, I have an opportunity to show all of you a photocopy of the original of this statement of the President of Ukraine. I show it to the President of Russia.
Ambassador Churkin told council members that while ultra-nationalists continue to threaten the lives of ethnic Russians in Ukraine, he says there is also information of provocation being prepared against the Russian Black Sea Fleet, which has been in place for many years based on agreements with Ukraine. Now, while many Western envoys within the Security Council defended Ukraine's new government as democratic and legitimate, Ambassador Churkin questioned how America would react if radicals subjected a local official in the U.S. to a so-called kangaroo court, an event that took place in Ukraine not so long ago.
When the administrative buildings were hit, when a major people from a municipality were taken from that building and put to a pillar and they were mocked. Is that democracy when that was done to someone? Is a normal political process? In Chicago, would we see that, for example? A number of years ago, the U.S., for example, took over Grenada, and President Reagan said that we're defending American citizens who reside there. 1,000 people, 1,000, and there's no threat from Grenada to those citizens. We have millions living there, and their concerns.
Now, depending on how tensions escalate and how the conflict in Ukraine may in fact deepen in the coming days, we may see Security Council members of the United Nations meeting once again to discuss and possibly come to a solution over the crisis in Ukraine.